Thank you, Adam Aguilera, a language arts teacher in Evergreen Public Schools. Dear Evergreen School Board and Superintendent Boyd, I would like to speak tonight on the issue of the school district potentially cutting up to $20 million from Evergreen students. It's important to remind the community that after the first levy failed in 2022, the school board made the decision to collect less in the levy, which widened our deficit by several millions of dollars. When a school district fails a levy, they just run it again and organize better. It was bad governance for the school board to take less money when it was the teachers, staff, and parents who worked so hard at the doors to convince voters not to punish the students over the school board firing and cashing out multiple bad superintendents. I would also like to remind the community that the school board and superintendent has already cut $19 million from your children last year. They've cut your librarians, counselors, athletic directors, school resource staff, overloaded your child's classroom with more students and less attention for your family, and now they're planning to cut even more educators who work directly with students. But there's one area the school district hasn't cut yet: district administration. This building is loaded with millions of public tax dollars and salaries by people who do not work directly with students at all. Why do we have a chief operations officer who makes over $245,000 a year when we already have a superintendent and associate superintendent whose job is, to operate the district? Why do we have an HR department with a chief officer, a senior director, and 2 managers? This district office is filled with executive directors overseeing senior directors who are overseeing directors who are also overseeing managers. And our students and staff do not know them because the work these administrators do is invisible to the daily lives and struggles our students face with less staffing and less resources. Now, there are folks who work in this district office building who do good work, and if district leadership had not brought us to a place of this financial mismanagement, I wish they could continue that good work. But I have less as a middle school teacher to give and offer to my students than when I started here in Evergreen over 15 years ago. Many folks in this building have teaching certificates and can be moved to the buildings to work directly with our students as certificated educators. This would be a more efficient use of public tax dollars in the midst of budget cuts. And I would like to offer one more suggestion to save money in the budget for Superintendent Boyd. Can you voluntarily take a pay cut? Do you really need to be making $350,000 a year when you're considering cutting the last of the food pantries on our kids? You make $150,000 more than the governor of Washington. And everyone in this room, and you and I both know, that you could never look Governor Inslee in the face and say you work $150,000 harder than him. It's time for district leadership to pay for the mistakes they've made. Evergreen students and educators have already paid their fair share.
Hi, Megan.
Hi, my name is Megan Hausinger. I'm a paraeducator in the district, but I'm here as a mother to 2 students, Ilahi and Shahela. In 2020, we went to remote learning for the safety of our students and staff. Why then are we not putting violent kids in alternate learning? Why are we allowing students who assault to the point of broken bones, concussions, and hospital trips stay in their school? Or once they have committed enough offenses, ship them to another school to traumatize a new set of students, as we saw last week? My second issue is equity. This district has no right to use the word equity. Getting rid of our newcomers program is quite frankly cruel. You're setting these kids up for failure. Throwing students who are brand new to the country into gen ed classrooms with little to no language support is the opposite of equitable. I find it hard to believe that with such a bloated district office, we can't find the money to support our newcomers. And I wish our superintendent was in here to hear this, that the superintendent position makes more in 1 month than I do in an entire year. I would like to know how you are directly supporting our students, not just some strategic plan. The Salem-Kaiser districts are preparing for a budget cut by freezing pay for 63 senior administrators, and the superintendent is giving back $30,000 of her salary over the next 2 years. In case you're wondering, that would pay for my para position. That would pay for an extra ELL para. Vancouver is also preparing for cuts by starting at the district office. This board can obviously learn something. I have seen the aftermath of a district ran like this, of a superintendent like this. After the longest teacher strike in Washington state history, Marysville School District has never recovered. I graduated from there. My dad taught there during the strike. When I was an adult, I refused to buy a home in Marysville because of the schools. Districts, they cannot pass levies, they cannot pass bonds. Buildings are literally falling apart at 75 years old. Nothing can get passed. Teachers cannot get pay increases. The district has never regained the community's trust. For all these reasons, I am now actively trying to remove my kids from Evergreen schools. We are not safe. I am not safe at work. My kids are not safe at school. It is not equitable for anyone involved. And I have a feeling I'm not the only person. You need to address your declining enrollment. I think there are a lot of families who are looking to stay out of this district.
Yeah, I'd just want to thank the voters of the Evergreen School District for their faith in me to bring a new perspective and a voice for change. I know it can be frustrating repeatedly coming to school board meetings and sharing your heart during public comments and not seeing immediate change. So, yeah, and I thought Adam tonight had an interesting comment, and it got me thinking. As we're looking at, down the road 2-3 years, the possibility of closing a school or two. He mentioned, this building would be probably more marketable than a 50-year-old elementary school, so we might consider looking at those options as well. But also, Megan had brought up some interesting comments too, and I'm very interested in hearing from the group assembled as a result of the September 12th board meeting, after almost a dozen public board comments that night corroborated widespread ongoing student behavioral problems causing student and teacher trauma and widespread learning loss. Like she was mentioning tonight, there has to be consequences for these repeated behaviors. So looking forward to hearing back from that group. And I also want to retract a portion of my public comment from October 24th concerning Superintendent Boyd and his quote in the front page of the Columbian. That article on October 21st, John shared recently that although the quote may have been accurate, it was misapplied to that portion of the article concerning academic scores, and I should have considered the source. And lastly, I just want to wish everyone a safe and merry Christmas, or whatever season's greetings you might share. Shalom. But thank you.